podcast, bringing you the latest and greatest stories from all across Inside, like fully inside now.
Yes.
My name's Chris Bolson.
And I'm Alison Hoare.
We're very, very excited to announce, as I'm probably sure you figured out based on the episode title, that we've been doing this for 100 danged episodes.
100 danged episodes. That's a lot of danged episodes.
I think it's safe to say when we began this little venture, didn't see that coming.
No, probably not. But it's been fun, week to week.
Yeah, it's been all right.
It's been a good time.
I've done worse things with my time.
Sure, I've done much less productive things.
That's true. This is a good... It gets me out of bed on the weekends.
Right,
and by
exactly.
out of bed, I mean into the chair next to my bed, still wearing the same pajamas.
Yeah, it's a stretch to say I'm out of bed, considering my chair is, like, touching my bed at this point of time. But I'm not under the covers, so...
No,
it's pretty close.
I'm out of my bed, but I'm about a meter away from my bed, and I'm watching my cat sit on my bed and lick his ball, or where his balls used to be.
Okay, right.
So that's, I think, my vibe.
That's how you're vibing.
He seems pretty chill.
Yeah.
So this episode's going to be a little bit different because it's episode 100, and we created far too much hype for it.
We did create far too much hype for it.
Which is entirely of our own doing.
It is of our own doing. But I would say the chance of us being able to do some kind of, like, fun, like, adventurous thing is really dampened by the lockdown situations.
Yeah, well, we were going
like the coronavirus.
What we were thinking of doing is we were going to travel to the US and do a live stream of Disneyland. And whilst Disney is now fine with that, Disney's actually, like, into it.
Absolutely.
I am not, because I don't want to die. So that one kind of got vetoed.
Yeah, exactly.
So instead,
that's exactly what we're planning to do.
Yeah, so instead we're doing two things. One of them is still Disney related, though, inexplicably. So we're going to, this episode, we'll do a few stories at the top. Then we're going to play a fun game where we're going to look through all of our previous episode titles, which I need everybody to know I usually come up with in about 10 seconds after the end of the episode.
Yes.
And then we're going to try and remember what the fuck they're about.
How this relates to the news.
Exactly.
Is what we're gonna think about here. And
then we're gonna do something maybe equally as self-indulgent.
I'm not sure I understand.
I don't either, Siri. Then we're gonna do something equally as self-indulgent in a second bonus episode that I'll put up separately, where we're gonna record an audio commentary track to the movie Artemis Fowl.
It's gonna be painful.
It's gonna be rough. I watched that flick yesterday.
You watched it again yesterday. Since your third watching.
My friend Emmett was like, I'll come over on Saturday and watch TV. We finished watching Pretty Little Liars, so I was like, I wonder what exciting new garbage TV show Emma will have for me. And it turned out it was the movie Artemis Fowl.
That's great.
So you're an expert on the books. I feel like I can pretty comfortably say I'm now an expert on the film.
I actually have the books here right in front of me. So
hell yeah, dude. You've got research material.
Let me just double check that I have the first book.
I was going to take notes, but then I drank too much wine, so I didn't. Also...
No, I very much have the first book here next to me.
Also, full disclosure, I will be drinking more wine while we record the Artemis Fowl bit. It's going to be at about 1 p.m. on a Sunday. So this is what I do for my art.
Exactly. The hits that you take for your art. Beautiful.
Exactly.
Beautiful work.
Then I've got a couple hours to recover so I can edit it.
No, it's going to be fun. It'll be a good time.
This intro has been purely expository, but, I mean, there's not that much going on in either of our lives anyway, so who gives a fuck?
So that's just explaining to you what to expect this week. Yeah. Good fun.
We're going to do one story each at the top of the app. Do you want to go first, Alison?
Do I want to go first? Actually, the funny thing is, on the week that we don't plan to do a lot of stories, a lot of people sent me stories. So
well, it's like we're playing hard to get with the friends, isn't it?
I had a lot of stories to choose from this week, in fact. So perhaps next week I won't have to do too much research because there will be a lot of stories that already exist that have been sent through to me.
you imply that we would do research if we weren't sent stories instead of just delivering a substandard podcast, which is what I usually try and do.
I mean, both work. Both work.
Oh, also, shout out to my mum, who... Also, shout out to this TSMR that I'm providing right now. My mum, who listens to that best of clip show that I put up last week, and said to me very kindly and lovingly that I just sounded a lot more animated and enthusiastic back then. So thanks.
Oh.
So
back in the day.
Back in the day, in my youthful days of 2 years ago, and now I sound
in your youthful
old.
days of pre-COVID.
Now I sound old and withered and
It's
worn
COVID,
down.
Chris. It's COVID. It's done it to all of us.
Yeah.
Someday, like 50 years in the future, some kid is going to be doing like their research assignment on COVID, and they're going to use you as a case study, Chris.
Is it weird that I'm really flattered by that?
Yeah, well, you should be.
Yeah.
You're going to be a case study in some kid's primary school assignment. That's the highest honour that you can have.
I want nothing more in life.
Absolutely. So let me bring a story, actually. Look, it is about study, which is fun, because I'm starting uni again next week, doing another pointless degree that is not going to get me a job, but...
We all make choices.
I mean, yeah.
Three for three. 3 for
3. So actually I'm reading from esteemed news outlet, Lad Bible.
Hell yeah.
Or Laid Bible, as we call it.
Oh, I think I saw the headline to the story that you're about to read. That I think my sister sent it to me. But yes,
probably.
please proceed, because if I recall correctly, it's beautiful.
Oh, it is a great story. Student begs to retake test after meatball falls onto keyboard and logs her out.
Oh my gosh. There's just so many juicy little deets.
The amount of detail you get in that headline. It's like a,
It feels like a yes, no, reply all episode where you have to like unpack it word by word just for like the detail and like
the sheer amount of detail that's just in that headline.
The themes, man. I want the spark notes of this headline.
Right, exactly. And the picture I do like. It is the student in question looking quite concerned as she stares towards her meatball sub, which I suppose is what delivered the meatball from,
that's all
where
a meatball
should
sub
be.
really is, ultimately, isn't it? I've eaten maybe one ever, because I'm not a meatball guy generally, and they exist solely to drop meatballs on, just like sweaty, wet meatballs onto the ground.
Oh my god. Okay, now here's the funny thing. In this Laid Bible article, they have hyperlinked meatball sub to an article about Subway meatball subs.
Nice, guys. Fucking nice.
Good SpawnCon there that you've worked in. Anyway, a college student had to beg her professor for another stab at an economics test, having accidentally flunked hers thanks to a wayward meatball. No, seriously. Sam Lee, 20, had been taking an exam while eating a meatball sub, hyperlinked through to the sponsored content
of
meatball
course.
sub article.
Because we just in case we didn't know what that was.
Right, exactly. While eating a meatball sub, when part of the filling dropped out of the bread and onto the keyboard, in turn logging her out of the test prematurely.
Yes.
Meatball sub is not a good food to eat when you're doing a test.
No, it's kind of the opposite of energy food.
It's very messy.
Like it's very messy. Like I wouldn't eat like spaghetti while taking a test, Like it's just you need something that's gonna like I'd eat a banana. You need something
the potassium, Chris.
The potassium.
That's a lot of potassium. That will be good for you.
I just don't want to eat a shitload of heavy carbs.
No, I also don't want to eat something which is going to get my fingies all greasy, and then I have to touch my keyboard with greasy fingies.
Now, if it was like an on-paper test, I would kind of like to get my fingies all greasy, just as like a fuck you to my teachers, because fuck teachers, am I right?
I once had a nosebleed in an exam, and a little drip of blood got on the test, and and Chris, tell you what, that was during my trial HSC exams, and tell you what, it was very satisfying to have a little bit of blood on the test.
Can you just imagine that they are going to have to have laminated that test and stuck like a hazard sticker on it?
Right, exactly.
Like this is a biohazard test. It's
Yeah.
not safe for consumption.
It wasn't like just an answer sheet that you can like quickly fill it in. It was like
An essay page.
handwritten an essay page.
Yes.
And like a little drip of blood like falls out of my nose.
You'd handwritten some of it in blood, and that's
Well,
really
yeah.
critical to what you were saying.
In blood that comes out of my nose, specifically.
Okay, I'm very glad that you specified where the blood was from. That's what we were
I think
all
that's
wondering
important.
about.
I think that's important. After her results came back at a fairly woeful failing grade of 39%, she
Oof.
decided the only thing to do was to fess up to her professor in an email. I had some technical difficulties and outside distractions during the test today, Sam, a junior at the University of Georgia, wrote in the email. Something hit my computer and caused it to submit the test when I had less than half of the questions answered. By something, I mean a meatball that had tragically fallen onto my keyboard as I was taking the exam. This said meatball caused some malfunctions of my laptop and caused the test to submit itself. She added, I completely understand that a falling meatball is no excuse for the failing grade on this exam.
Just a
But is there any
stray
possibility
meatball.
of retaking the test?
Oh,
I
that's
just
delightful.
like referring to it as a falling meatball.
As though falling from the sky sent by God. Like,
Right. Exactly.
Which, I mean, I've never seen Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, but I assume that's what it's about.
Exactly right. This is, yeah, exactly right.
Well, I'm glad... Did she get to retake the test?
Well, let's finish it off. It turned out the professor was an understanding person, or perhaps the type who had once dropped a meatball on their keyboard too, responding the next day to say she could have another stab at the exam. Her professor replied, Samantha, well, this is certainly a new and unusual excuse for a low score, but for that reason it seems unlikely that you've made this up. I've extended your deadline for the Module 6 test until tonight. He added a
So-
smiling emoji. I would recommend you take the test before or after dinner.
So we've just discovered how to get around anything with this professor, is you just got to be kind of creative.
Yeah.
So if I say I got kidnapped by a slimy alien, he's going to be like, well, you couldn't have made that up. It's too crazy. It must be true.
It's ridiculous. You wouldn't make up a ridiculous story like that.
I'm going to start using this logic in law enforcement scenarios.
Absolutely.
When I'm in trouble from the nasty police boys,
From the boys in blue.
from the boys in that colour.
Indeed.
I don't know why I said that. I'm sleepy. They're going to be like, mate, why are you standing around outside at this late hour? And I'll be like, oh, I'm looking for a leprechaun. It's very important. It's for science.
And now I do like that subtle link into our bonus episode there.
Oh, yeah, true.
There you go.
That's the twist. I've actually been Artemis Fowl the whole time, which is why I'm such a shithead sometimes.
Oh, dear.
Is there more to this?
No. She got to retake her test, and she apparently did slightly better.
Hopefully above 50, we dream.
I hope she passed. But there you go. Don't eat meatballs when doing your tests, kids. That's the basic
Well, thank God,
takeaway here.
because I...
Just don't eat Subway meatball subs in general.
You were
They're
about,
pretty
as
yucky.
someone who's about to start uni, Alison, I think this is a pretty important lesson for you to
Well, as someone
learn.
who's... I have had 2 shots at uni prior to this, both passing. And I think the
both
reason
by
I
the
passed,
skin of your teeth, because you were just dropping meatballs all over the dang place.
Absolutely. But personally, I think what saved me is that I hate Subway. So this has
it's
never
gross.
happened
It's
to
foul.
me. It's yucky, Chris.
I've never had a good Subway experience.
I think at best I've had mediocre Subway experiences.
Any store that has a distinct smell that you can detect from a distance,
Yeah.
I think except KFC, which I have a sad, sickening, shameful lust for.
It's the MSG, Chris. That's what...
MSG. But Subway has a smell that just makes me think of sad lettuce. And I'm not about that.
No.
I bring you a story that is, I think, the final entry in our ongoing Panther saga.
Oh, yes, Chris. I have read this, but you can absolutely
You've
bring
read
it to
this?
us.
Have you
Yes.
seen the footage?
I did not watch the footage. No.
I did watch the footage.
Tell me the story.
So this is, my sister sent this to me. Thank you, Sophie. Shout out to Sophie. This is from
As she should.
7news.com.au. Sydney man catches huge black cat-like creature on camera. And, excuse
Well,
me.
there you go. It's confirmed.
We've had, Alison, this one might have made me a believer. Like, we've had a lot of these stories, and our usual response is, you dumb idiots.
You dumb, sillies.
Exactly. These dumb, big idiot babies who think that a cat is like a lion or whatever the fuck.
Absolutely.
But a big black cat has been caught on camera north of Sydney, leaving many convinced the creature is one of Australia's legendary black panthers. Alec McDonald says he was meditating outside, firstly, love that, outside at Wahroonga on Tuesday when he saw the large animal in the distance, so immediately grabbed his phone. I saw it and I started filming because it was very, very large compared to a normal domestic cat. Describing the mammoth mogi as a sight to behold, McDonald said he feared for his life.
Okay, sure.
It was definitely a bit scary. My heart was racing. The length of it, the musculature on it, it
Oh
was
my
huge.
God.
Again, very horny description. Now, I'm actually going to send you this link, Alison.
Wow, Chris, that description there.
Oh, it's delicious.
He's written some novels in his time, I would say. Probably,
yes.
I would say he's written some fan fiction in his time.
Oh, absolutely. And a lot of it is, it's problematic. Can I get you to watch the video?
I'm going to watch the footage.
So you're going to have to skip to about 30 seconds in, because if I recall correctly, there's an ad at the start, and then there's some sunrise
and there's a lot of
bullshit.
there's some sunrise talking, which is really not what I want to hear.
But you just
now, this
wanna...
video is going to take like a year to load.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Now, actually, the ad that's playing right now is for that new show. What's the new show called? Oh, Plate of Origin, which is a new cooking show that's coming out, which has got the two of the old judges from MasterChef and the judge from My Kitchen Rules, which isn't Pete Evans. So they've just cut two problematic people out.
But does it have anything to do with State of Origin? Why is it called Plate
it's
of
about
Origin?
food. Okay, I've got the footage open.
So I just want you to see I think a genuinely quite impressive size and musculature of this cat.
That is quite a sizable and muscular cat.
Like, my cat is a pretty large cat, but you don't have nothing on that cat.
Oh, it's probably just been to the gym.
It's just been doing some lifts.
He's been working out, you know?
I'm not going to lie, Alison, this is the first time I've been like, it does look a lot like a panther, though.
It does look a lot like
Also,
a panther.
I think
it's not like it.
It's the gait and the movement. It has
It's
like
not immediately a cat.
no, like it moves in such a way that it feel like it has a lot of mass behind it. All of our listeners, please go and watch this footage, and you will be convinced, like me, that there are panthers roaming Australia's, I guess, Sydney. Yeah,
It's intriguing. It's intriguing. It is quite a muscular boy.
That's really all the story is. I just really wanted to. I think that this is the right time for us to end this story
Now,
with the
let me
twist
just,
being that it was true the whole time.
Let me read the ending of this, though.
Okay.
It says, a New South Wales state government inquiry in 2003, which, Chris, I was not aware that there was a state government inquiry into panthers in Sydney.
That's insane.
But apparently there was. Found that there is no conclusive evidence that large cats exist in the wild in New South Wales.
Well, yeah, because we didn't have smartphones to film them with at that point, so now we have conclusive evidence.
Conclusive evidence. What I liked in that little bit of that little tidbit there was that I discovered that there was a New South Wales government state inquiry into the existence of big cats.
Well, it's obviously it's like, at this point, we've got to realise that it's like an urban legend from way back. But
right, it does say since the mid-1800s, big cat spotters have made hundreds of reports of mysterious large big cats roaming the bushland.
I think at a certain point where there's smoke, there's fire, you know? It's like with drop bears. Like, people talk about them so much that, like, surely they're real. Sorry,
at some point, they have to exist.
My sister's just phoning me, so I'm just going to take this. Give me 1 sec. I'll put her on speaker. Hey, Sophie, what's up?
Not much. We have an issue with Nick's birthday present. Turns out you're not allowed to brew beer on campus.
Okay, update for the podcast. Sophie, you're a guest on the podcast right now, FYI. So we were trying to get our brother, who I feel confident doesn't listen to this, so I can say this on here.
Sure.
His birthday's coming up, and we were going to get him. He asked for just like wine or beer. And we were like,
Boring.
No, what we're going to...
You absolute loser nerd.
Yeah.
I'm not getting you that.
So we're like, well, teach a man to fish. You can make your own beer. Sophie has just tragically realised that it is against campus rules at the Australian National University, just doxing my little brother here.
He can drop out of university and become a brewer.
I think that's a good point, actually, Sophie. I think we need...
Simple solution.
We need to, Sophie, I think... We need to buy it for him anyway, and then he has a choice to make. Like, what's more important to him? Is his new art or his studies?
But you see, all the parcels go to like a reception zone, so they'd probably not even give it to him.
That's fair. All right, we'll break in and sneak it in under the cover of night. I'm going to call you back later so we can discuss this actually while I'm not trying to record a podcast, okay?
Okay, alright, goodbye.
Bye. That was a fun little diversion.
That's a fun little diversion. And that's a good segue into the next portion of this podcast, maybe.
Yeah. If anyone has any good ideas for my brother's birthday present, he's a massive nerd. Really, he has fun studying. Like, he does it voluntarily and loves it.
What a loser.
He has, like, 20-year-old white boy swagger.
Of course. Does he have a YouTube prank channel?
No, thank Christ.
Okay, that's good to know.
I don't know if he knows how to work a video camera, so...
well, that's also good to know, because it means that he probably does not have a TikTok.
Oh, no, he's whatever... His vibe is whatever the opposite of TikTok is.
Okay,
Like,
that's good. That's good.
He's basically already a dad at, like, 19.
Wow, so you became a dad before you, Chris. That's good to know.
Yeah, it took me till my mid-20s to become a dad, but...
Is this just like roasting your little brother segment of the podcast now?
I'm having a great time.
Yeah, that's great.
So...
That's what he gets for not listening, hey.
Exactly. So, it'd be fucking funny if you did, though. This is...
Your mum listens, though.
I know. So
She's probably going to tell him, hey, listen to this episode. Go ahead.
Wait till after your birthday. So this next segment is going to be, depending on how long it takes, most of the episode.
Sure.
So yeah, we're going to go through all the previous episode titles and see if we can remember what it's about, if there's news related to it.
A single thing about this episode based on the headline alone.
So I'll start. Do we want to just like trade them back and forth?
Yeah, sure.
So I got dibs on number 1. Geckos. Geckos are pervs.
I know what that's related to, but I don't know if that's
I don't think it's related
news.
to any news at all. I think it's just an aside, that one of your patented Allison asides.
Well, it's related to my personal life experiences and traumas, Chris.
A tang Allison, as they like to call them.
My personal experience of being perved on by a gecko in showers in various countries.
I don't mean to invalidate your
to invalidate
trauma.
my experience there, yeah.
Have you ever considered that maybe it's just one gecko following you?
Oh, Chris, I don't want to consider that because it could be true.
It sneaked inside your luggage. Now
it went from like Philippines to Australia to Indonesia. It's been following me around.
What if it's actually not? Maybe the reason it is able to follow you around, because like gecko ain't getting through customs, you know?
Sure.
I think it's a changeling, and it's able to change into a human form.
Yucky.
It doesn't have the intelligence of a human. It only has the intelligence of a gecko.
It is, and it does crawl around.
Yes, but that is not illegal, and you can get through customs doing it.
Right. They would just think, okay, this is a weird person who crawls around, but that's okay. We respect their choices.
Yeah. I like this. Okay, I don't like them because they have, perved on you for many years. But,
yeah, it's not ideal, frankly, that they've been following me around, perving on me. But
they committed
crawling
to the,
around.
They committed to the bit. I'll give them that.
Committed to the bit.
Yeah,
it is, and the thing is, it's a recurring experience. The pervy geckos. I believe in that episode, I was probably talking about my experience in the Philippines. But then again, when I moved to Indonesia, it did happen quite frequently with the
Oh
shower
my God,
there.
really? You still had the
Yeah.
gecko? I think it is. Yeah, it's the same one.
It must be the same one. It
All
must
right.
be the same one.
Your turn. We got to move through these because there's 100 of these bad boys.
Well, there's a lot of these bad boys. Five-ringed sports circus, Chris.
Well, that's the Olympics.
That's the Olympics.
That's what I call the Olympics.
That is the name of the Olympics, the five-ringed sports circus.
So I assume something to do with the Olympics. Maybe they were saying Fortnite's an Olympic sport now or something like that. Who knows?
I don't know. I am looking at the episode description. I don't see any. Oh, the biggest new sport. Something there was considered a sport. So there you go.
Now, this is where we're going to run up against my actively unhelpful episode descriptions because I generally try and describe things in like a kind of like a hashtag quirky sort of
Yeah,
way.
you do. Which sometimes I'm like, okay, I understand that. Other times I'm like,
A lot of the time, Alison, you've also got to understand that this is happening at like 11 o'clock at night, and I just want it to be fucking
well,
over.
that's true. That's true. Now, the other thing I'm noticing in this one is that the Grey Mardi Gras story, and I do remember finding out that a friend of mine's dad was one of the people who got that through. Because he was the counsellor there.
So your friend's dad is cancelled.
Moving right along.
That I recall fondly because it was the first time I ever got violently angry on the podcast.
Oh, it was. And then I do remember finding out after that episode that it was in fact my friend's dad who was providing comment in that story about the Grey Mardi Gras.
Well,
So-
I will not apologise for all the very mean things I said about those people because I stand my ground. Okay. Ep 3.
dear.
So we had a bonus episode called Eat More Chicken, which I think, if I recall correctly, before we started the show, we did a bunch of sort of pilots to try and
we did.
see if we
To
could
figure
get
out what we wanted to do.
yeah, and just figure out the tone. And then we were like, we've recorded 4 hours of material. Most of it's garbage. Some of it's okay. So that's
Sure.
we spliced up all the okay bits.
Yeah.
Episode 3 is called Oceans 3. And I know what this is about. I remember what this is about. I want to see if you remember. This to my day
Christ.
actually is still my favorite story from this show ever.
Oh my god, was that the guys who stole the octopus?
Stole a shark, baby.
Stole a shark.
They stole a shark in a
You
pram.
remember that? Yeah, they put it in like a cool box on a pram and took it out to the car park.
That was when I did the best of episode, which I assume you didn't listen to. That was story number
I will
one.
listen to it while I'm walking to the shops and just laugh at my own jokes.
Have I done that? Maybe.
I've done that a few times, and
Yeah.
I have to say I feel a little bit ashamed. But
But
when you're
some-
laughing at your own jokes, it's like you're laughing
See,
at in-jokes
I
of a
think
friend.
for me, at risk of getting too saccharine, it's me just being like, oh, this is a nice friendship bond that we have. And it just makes me feel
Aw,
nice.
Christopher.
I know.
That's very lame of you.
You're welcome.
What a big nerd.
Fuck you, you piece of shit. There's not much more to say about that one, just because
No,
the
that was a
story,
good story.
the story
If you-
owns.
If you haven't listened back to our early episodes, do listen to episode 3 because
That's a good one.
the octopus story was pretty sweet.
It's a shark, Alison.
Or listen to the shark. Listen to the best of, and you'll hear the shark.
I think I
story
made a
again
joke
anyway.
about an octopus in it.
Probably.
So maybe my joke has overtaken the truth, which is honestly my life's dream.
Well, yeah, that's true.
All right, your turn.
The next one, A Murder Most Foul, with foul spelled F-O-W-L, like the film Artemis Fowl.
Exactly. Except we are going to spell it F-O-U-L in the episode title, because fuck that movie. I can't express how much I'm dreading watching it again.
Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. I need to get some popcorn, I think, to
Yeah.
get myself prepared.
I might do that. Please
But
don't
actually,
eat
no,
popcorn,
I won't eat
on the recording.
I've
Yeah,
decided
please don't
that,
do
in
that.
fact, that's a bad idea because
Because I have to make it listenable.
it will be quite an ASMR experience. What was this story about?
Okay, this one was, we found, this I remember was way back in the day, my mum's favourite bit. We found a bunch of stories about various different aeroplane takeoffs being stopped by birds getting in the engines. And
Yes.
then we came up with some sort of 20-minute long elaborate conspiracy theory that I couldn't fit into the best
Oh
of
my
episode because it was so
God.
fucking long. But we basically ended up saying that Air New Zealand was trying to cleanse the world of birds and do a
Well,
bird
that's
genocide.
true. Well, it's what we've done is we've uncovered the truth there, and that we didn't need to touch on that again because the truth was already out there, and some people have chosen to ignore it. Apparently.
Okay, Ep 5, Block Panther. I assume that's just Black Panther.
I assume that's related, probably though, to the Panther stories.
Which is why I feel good about never mentioning Panthers ever again after this episode.
It's done.
Because it happened.
It's confirmed,
first,
right?
Yeah, it's truth. We started 95 eps ago. Like, we've cracked the case. And by
We've
we, I
cracked
mean
the
a
case.
bunch of other
It's-
people.
We've sat there and like read other people talk about it, and that's all.
Exactly. What's the next one? You'll go. Have fun reading this.
I believe it's supposed to say showgrounds, but it does say SHOPW grounds, but SH is capitalized, so like shop W grounds.
Shop grounds.
Which I believe. You go ahead.
I
Why
have no
is that
fucking
the
idea.
title?
I have absolutely no idea.
I know why that's the title though, because that week there was a story with some very, very obvious typos in there, and I believe Shop W Grounds appeared within the article as the way it's written right there on the episode title.
Fair enough.
I don't know what the story was about, but I do remember it was very funny that obviously...
Okay,
Yeah.
so episode 7, Personal Desalinator. I only know what this is about because this was in the best of one.
Oh, really?
But do you have any idea at all?
Personal desalinator. I could not begin to understand.
Okay, so here was the bit. This is a great explanation of how improv
All
humor
right.
gets away from you sometimes.
How okay. Now, explain. This might give a little bit of understanding of our thought process.
Yeah.
A little bit of insight into who we are as people.
So it was a story about, I think it was a restaurant that was selling booze that didn't have like a booze license, and they weren't selling
Okay.
any food, but they were
Sure.
legally a restaurant.
Sure.
But they were functionally a bar, and it was in Auckland, I want to say, and the New Zealand government was mad about it. And I
Sure.
thought this was a fun grift, and then we started talking about
Oh,
deconstructed
that's
food.
right. They served like pretzels.
Yes, that
as
was
the one food
that was their menu.
on their menu.
And then we started talking about deconstructed food for some reason, and then we got on
Right.
to you have to desalinate your own water.
Oh yeah, it's the newest trend
Yes.
in hipster food, is bringing your own personal desalinator. Oh, Chris, why haven't we patented that yet? Because that would be great for like.
In my head, it works via like a crank mechanism where you have to like turn it over and over again to get the
It
salt
actually,
out.
it's kind of like
It's just a
hamster
little-
wheel.
it's just
a
a
big
little-
hamster wheel.
I was imagining it being like a very, very small washing machine where the salt just gets stuck to the side through some sort of magic.
Like a centrifugal, whatever it is, force.
Yeah,
there.
exactly. I feel like
Sure.
that. I don't know enough about science to know if that would work or not, but it sounds
No,
like
neither do
something
I.
that would work. So if you're ever going on like an ocean voyage, bring one of those. Episode 8.
Episode 8. The
Eat-
big banana.
Eat the big
Eat
banana.
the big banana.
I assume it has something to do with the big banana.
The big banana in Coffs Harbour.
Yeah, no, that is where it is. If any of our US listeners ever come to our beautiful country once you're allowed to again, go to the Big Banana. It's pretty fun. They used to have
Fun's one way to put it, Chris.
all right, fine. It's pretty gauche, but in like a fun way.
Yeah,
it used to have an
exactly.
indoor skiing setup that, as far as I'm aware, is fully closed down now.
Oh yeah, as it
is-
should be.
Is there still the ice rink there? There was last time I went there, like a decade ago.
I don't know. Now here's the thing that's funny is that Coffs Harbour is known as like, you know, a bit of a beach area, cool coastal, warm getaway, and its main attraction has an indoor skiing rink, which is
I think that rules. I think that's excellent.
it's a banana in a banana farm with an indoor skiing section, which is it's a choice. Really.
I think it's
a
pretty
choice.
sick. In all seriousness, I unironically love the Big Banana as a thing that exists. Like,
I do love it as a tourist attraction.
I think it's a bad tourist attraction. I think all of Australia's big things are terrible tourist attractions.
Okay, my favourite big thing is definitely the big merino, though.
Big merino is very good. Merino is a sheep, for those of you who don't know.
It is a sheep, yeah.
But I just love that we, as a country, were like, other people have, like, the Taj Mahal and, like, the Grand Canyon. We do have a big sheep.
We've got a big sheep and a big banana.
And a big banana. Big pineapple. There's a big prawn near Newcastle.
Yeah, there is too.
Okay.
go.
Episode 9, flesh texture. No fucking clue. Absolutely none.
Oh, it makes me feel very uncomfortable.
I
though.
believe that was the
Flesh
intent.
texture.
If I recall correctly, that was the intention.
I don't know whose wording was flesh texture. It does sound like something I would say. It sounds like a combination of words.
It
that I
sounds
would
like something
put together.
you would say and I would immediately pick up on and not shut up about for the next 10 minutes.
I don't know if that's what happened, but it does.
It sounds like something that would happen.
I don't mean to take credit for words, but that combination of words together does sound like something that I would put together in a way to try and describe something.
No, I'll let you have that. Because I very much know that episode 10 is all mine. So,
Okay, well, I am seeing episode 10, Alien Meat by Nando's. Now, I think this is the one we got followed by Nando's after
did, yes.
tagging us in this episode.
yes, I am still followed by Nando's. They like my Instagrams every now and again. And that's my personal favourite parasocial relationship that I have.
That Nando's is a fan of you enough to like your content, Chris.
Exactly. They haven't liked any of my cat pictures yet, which is offensive.
That's a shame. But maybe what they're trying to avoid is the implication that their chicken meat is cat meat.
Well, maybe if I get some Nando's and I take a picture of Tim eating the Nando's, that will probably kill Tim, but like it'll...
I mean, it won't be ideal for him. Certainly.
But no, the bit here was that Nando's is in a building in which I get 0% cell phone service. Then I suggested that the Nando's was in fact a CIA black site, and that Nando's is like Area 51 conducting experiments on aliens.
Right.
The meat is alien meat. That was the bit.
Right. That's the bit.
It's a lot. It's a lot less funny when described like that. But I remember being very proud of that bit.
Again, going off our usual style of just completely going off the topic.
If you
a
can,
long way off the topic.
It wasn't even a story. It was just an anecdote from me that evolved
Right.
far too far.
Yes.
Episode 11, Glass Cake for Men.
Oh, glass cake for men. Oh, this is
I know what the joke is, but I don't know what the story is.
There was basically like, I think it was in the cheesecake shop, a shard of glass was found in the cake or something like that, right?
Oh, and we tried to turn this into a selling point.
And we're like, let's make a product. As we do in this capitalist world.
Hellscape.
We decided to monetize it. Yeah, of course we'd monetize it. Of course. Simply, who wouldn't monetize it? And I believe that we were like, look, well, let's just say that normal cake are for soy boy babies and women.
Soy boy beta cucks.
Soy boy beta cucks and women.
Women who are all honorary soy boy beta cucks.
Right, exactly. Well, women by definition are soy boy beta cucks. It's simply...
Alison, please. They're called soy women beta cucks.
No, soy boy beta cucks. Anyway, soy women beta cucks just makes it sound like you're a feminist, Chris, if you say that.
I wouldn't dare.
You wouldn't dare say that. You have to call them soy
Well,
boys. Because putting women in there, that's just making it feminist,
Alison,
if you say that.
I'm way too much of a Chad to be a feminist, so...
That's great. Well, that's fine. Anyway, we decided that if you put glass inside cake and
makes it
you eat the
badass.
glass, it makes it really cool and masculine.
Well, I
to
mean,
eat that.
every time I drink wine out of a very thin wine glass, I do have that, like, nasty thought of, like, I could munch on this and it would, like, fully
Oh,
crack.
Yes.
You have that
I
thought?
don't, yes, I do, Chris. I think I could just chomp down on this and bite off a chunk of the glass.
just bleed profusely from the mouth. But I have that
It's like
thought almost every single time. And one day
Yeah.
I'm going to be drunk enough that I'm going to do it. And then I'm going to have to go to the
Right,
hospital.
exactly.
It's
I
quite
think everyone
scary.
it's like when you're walking along the harbour bridge or another high place and you're like, I kind of just want to throw my phone down.
Oh, no, see, I walk across the harbour bridge and I look down at the water and I'm like, I could survive that. Like,
No, Chris.
I'd be like, I could make that. I could pin drop. I'd be fine. And then I remember that there are
Just
sharks
do
in
it.
there.
Drop and roll.
There, land in
Right.
the motorcycle position, and it will.
Exactly.
You'll be fine. Handlebar pose.
Like, yeah, handlebar pose. Exactly. The next one, carp sex tape.
I remember this. Do you remember this?
I do remember carp sex tape. I believe it was some kind of scientific thing where they were filming carp.
No. It's where they were asking people in the ACT, just like
They were asking people.
they were asking
to go out and do that.
Yeah, they were crowdsourcing carp sex videos. Which
Right.
I,
Okay,
to this
that's
day,
even better, isn't it?
remain really frustrated because I spent at least 20 minutes making a video of that bit and it never went viral. And I thought it was hilarious and it made me so mad that it never went viral.
We can make it viral. We'll
We know neither
follow up on that one.
At this point, 100 episodes in, Alison, I think we can safely say that neither of us has the ability to make something go viral. If we could, we would have done it by now.
We got to start tagging Jake Paul in what we do.
Also, we've got to start churning
That's what
through
we gotta
these
do,
faster
Chris.
because we've been doing this for like 10 minutes and we're only 13 deep. So, number 13 is Predator is Gay Culture. And
Well, firstly, we have to say that we're in the context of the film Predator there.
Yes. Predator,
Yes.
like the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Right, exactly.
And if I recall correctly, the bit was almost entirely that he wears a full-body fishnet outfit.
Right.
Which is... and covers himself in mud to hunt people, to hunt big burly men.
Right.
So I stand by that, actually, is that Predator is, like, hot and he's into it.
Right, he's proud.
Exactly. He's proud, and that's why he rips the spines out of people.
Right, exactly. And we can assume that all of the people he rips the spines out of are homophobes. That's just the assumption that we're making.
Oh, 100%, yes.
Like, I don't know them, but I can assume that they're homophobic.
Exactly.
So they deserve it,
Just
really.
statistically, every non-Predator character in the movie, any movie in the Predator franchise is a massive homophobe.
Especially the aliens.
No, the aliens, Alison, they don't show it, but the aliens do all go to Hillsong. So, like...
They all give a big, like, more than 10% tithing to Hillsong.
People always talk about how, like, big religious gatherings can potentially spread, like, viruses, like coronavirus and stuff like that. Little do they know they also spread xenomorphs really, really well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just visualized a, like, cathedral full of folks, all of them with the chest burster coming out. And I gotta say, I want to see that fucking flick.
You want to see that
sounds like
film?
a great movie.
Starring Colin Firth.
Exactly.
From...
Ridley Scott, hit me up. I want that to be the next Alien.
Right, that's a good idea.
Episode 14, hashtag Sausagegate.
Sausagegate. I
got nothing.
I don't know. Was this perhaps related to the election?
Honestly, I feel like
know,
it's
Chris.
I feel like it's a weak title, and I'm going to ignore it. I'm
Yeah,
also
let's press on.
also going to ignore number 15, Halloween Spooktacular, because that does exactly what it says on the box.
It does do that. Let's press on.
16.
Herbs and spices adapter.
Herbs and Spices adapter. I assume it involves KFC and technology.
Let's press on.
Kiwi egg.
Okay.
This I remember. This is delightful, actually.
Okay, this is probably our weirdest episode yet, says the description.
Yes.
Kiwi egg.
In this episode, we posit that kiwi fruits are the eggs of kiwi birds,
Okay, we do posit that.
and
right.
that kiwi birds
Sure.
grow on trees.
Cute.
And
I mean, we don't posit that. We just
we
state
state it.
facts.
It's accurate.
Yeah, we state facts about the wildlife of New Zealand.
Episode 18, Flush the Onesie. One of my very favourite bits.
Flush the ones.
I'm very much looking forward to the next time we can't be fucked to record and I do another best of, because I really want to listen to Flush the Onesie again.
Is where we're talking about music festivals.
Yes, which is
we're
honestly
talking
such
about-
a rich vein of comedy is anything about music festivals.
Right. We should go to a music festival just for the content.
Oh, that's going to be challenging. But we should.
Not in this climate. Not in this climate.
No.
I believe we talk about like. How
Well,
people-
no,
a lot of
Alison,
people
let's break this down. If you and I are going to a music festival, I assume just the two of us, are we going to like a 1-day one or are we going to like a 3-day camping one?
God, one day.
I don't know. If you really want to get like immersed in the suffering, you've got to go to one of the big
I've never
ones.
been to a music festival.
Okay, maybe we should start small then.
We can start. We can just throw me in the deep end.
I think,
But
we're going to
it
take...
depends. It depends what bands are playing, really.
That's
you
not
know,
right.
my
That's-
music taste is exclusively pop punk from the early 2000s.
So that's going to be an issue because there's going to be exactly 0 of those.
Right,
Literally every
exactly.
single one. But the music is irrelevant,
yeah.
Alison. The point is to
Right.
do a fuck ton of ecstasy and watch Aladdin in a
Now
tent.
that's also. I could watch Aladdin in a tent.
Yeah, right.
That's the part of the experience that I can get behind.
The
I
other
think.
important part is if you go to a summer one, is watching. So they always have like pools, and on the
Sure.
first day, the pools are like the best thing in the world. Like you go in it because it's 1 billion degrees. You sit
Yes.
back, enjoy the water cooling your
Oh,
sunburn.
I don't think after the first day you would be enjoying that water.
So day 2, there is a film on top of the water made of sunscreen and just like human fluids.
Right, human oils.
And by episode 3, it does look like a hate crime has been... Day 3, it's a hate crime has been performed.
There is a turd just floating on top of the water.
And that is not dissimilar to the story of Flush the Onesie, which I
No,
believe...
I believe it's talking about people wearing onesies to music festivals, right? And then I think we
going
talk
to
about like
going to a Portaloo.
right, going to a Portaloo,
And
wearing
that
a
onesie
onesie.
is that onesie is a write-off at that point. Like it is fully tainted. You're better on going out
Right.
just nude after
just
that.
nude. You're more hygienic going out nude.
Episode 19, Cubie Doobie Do It. This is a you one.
I believe I did bring up a TV show called The Cubies.
And I don't
I
think
don't
I had
know.
another bit that I thought had a good episode title, so I called it
I
Cubie Doobie Do
don't
It.
know which context the Cubies came up in, but is there really a context that's ever correct for the Cubies to come up?
I don't remember anything about this episode, so presumably not.
Let's press on.
Episode 20, Cow.
Cow! I know this one.
Cow!
Cow!
I don't. What's Cow about?
The story was about a large cow.
Makes sense.
And that's the title is just cow in large caps to kind of
I remember
accentuate
thinking
the
that
size
was.
of the cow.
I remember thinking that was pretty funny.
Now, the large cow story was viral on Twitter for like a week in Australia. I remember
Oh, that's right. Yes.
it was a whole thing, right? Everyone was they just loved the big cow.
Episode 21 is called OC, and I don't remember what it means. And I'm reading the description, and it says, "No, we're not going to tell you why the episode is called that. It's a secret that you'll find out by listening the whole way through." So I imagine it's something horrific. It's definitely okay. I remember the first word. I'm pretty sure is ovarian. I don't know what the second word is.
Ovarian caviar.
That's the one. That's the one, baby. Oh,
Why
that's one of
did
the
we
worst
invent
things.
Ovarian caviar.
That's one of the worst things I've ever heard. Congratulations.
No. And now I believe that's something that I said as well.
Yes, I believe that was one that you said, and customarily I went on about it for the rest of the episode.
Again, it does seem on brand for me to put that combination of words together.
I feel like you're definitely the less vulgar of the two of us, but when you go hard.
I feel like, I don't know, people who've listened to this may notice this, but part of my brand of humor is just putting words together in a way that's funny, but it's not, like, inherently... I don't know.
That's okay. Part
I
of
don't
my
know.
brand is intentionally mispronouncing words. So, like...
I mean, that's a great style of comedy,
yeah,
too.
exactly. It's...
Except when you meet someone... Okay, this is the worst. When you meet someone and you say, for example, Lane Cove, as Lane
Yeah,
Cove,
Lane
my
Cove.
suburb, and someone corrects you and says,
Tache.
actually, it's Lane Cove. And you're like, can you just stop not having a sense of humour for a second of your life?
My favourite store is Tache Country.
Now, I do know the next story, though.
Tide Pods
Quite
for seals?
clearly. Tide Pods for seals. This is about the seal that snorted an eel.
Oh, that's right. And
Remember that?
this requires you to know a few different things, because it requires you to remember the Tide Pods thing.
Right,
And
which it's a meme that's old now.
Because this is just our way of saying that this is like a funny prank for a seal.
Right, exactly. And that's the main part of it, was that the seals like to snort eels for some reason.
Episode 23, Santa's Dragons, featuring Santa Claus. I don't really remember the dragons part. I assume it was just like the sleighs being pulled by dragons or something.
Sure.
But I do remember fondly just how frustrating Rune was.
We need to get him on again at some point.
We do. He was delightfully...
He's committed to the bit. That's something we can certainly say.
Do we get him to play the same character, or do we get him to play a different character?
Ooh.
My favourite bit, actually, was he was so committed to the bit, was that I asked if there was anything you wanted to plug at the end, and he was just like, no, only Christmas. And I was like, all right. Asked and answered.
Okay. I mean, you are doing some activism work that you might want to plug here, but that's all right. Christmas it is.
Episode 24, Party
Jesus.
Party Jesus. Don't remember, but I feel like we've returned to the Party Jesus well more than once.
I think Party Jesus has been something that I don't remember where he came from.
No.
But he's certainly popped up a few times.
25, Swinging with the Pigs. There's a few different things this could be about, all of them bad.
Yeah.
I feel confident in saying I wouldn't have made it the episode title if it wasn't a weird sex thing. This is where my sense of humour comes in, is that I will only emphasise something if it's a weird sex thing. So
now, reading through the description, I do not understand where the pigs came into it. We do mention SWAT, so perhaps the pigs are like the officers, the police officers of the law?
I remember. It was a person who put up a sign outside their property for their neighbours to read that said something along the lines of, I'm sorry for how loud the pigs having sex is.
Oh, I remember that! Yes, this was in New Zealand.
I mean, everything funny that happens is in New Zealand. Woof, this episode's getting long.
It's an inherently funny place. Let's just do a few more. We'll go back to the early episodes. Let's just finish at 30, and then we're done.
All right. The Human Centipede... XC, I can't read Roman numerals, something a love story. I don't want to know.
Well, it does say in the description that I bring up the human centipede with no prompting whatsoever. I would like to just apologise for January 14, 2019. That was 3 days after my birthday.
Oh, you beautiful, beautiful soul.
I don't know where that... I've never actually watched those films, confession.
I've watched bits. I haven't watched all of any of them.
Well, you've watched more of it than I have, but I did bring it up.
Now, I remember what
unprompted.
episode 27, It Comes Full Circle, is about. Do you? Alison, this is a story of a man who had back pain, so he injected his own jizz into his arm.
Oh no, I remember that one.
Yes, it was repulsive on every possible level.
Oh, yucky. And a doctor did advise that you should not do that.
The doctor did say, don't inject your own semen into your flesh.
Your body to solve your pain.
28, A Monstrous
Oh, no.
Romance. No fucking clue.
It's probably maybe this was a story about like Bigfoot or something, and someone had drawn images, and they were very sexy images of Bigfoot.
That makes sense. That seems like something we'd talk about.
I think it was someone drew illustrations of the Bigfoot he saw, and the illustrations were very sexually appealing.
It had like a full butt. I remember that it had a full butt.
Yeah, it did. It did. It had like.
It had, and it was like a tight butt.
Yeah, it was like the peach emoji.
Yes.
Right there on Bigfoot's back.
I've been playing the video game Ghost of Tsushima recently, which is kind of problematic because it's a samurai Japan game made by a development team from Seattle.
Okay, sure.
And it has like a weird strain of Japanese nationalism to it. It's bizarre. But
yes,
there's hot springs that you can go to and get your dude to just dunk in them. And the camera just lovingly shoots his very tight ass whenever you go in one of those hot springs. And
I mean, they've got you know what?
As I remember when I saw
there needs to be more fan service for people who are attracted to men, they're putting that right in there.
I remember seeing the little MA rating thing, and it was like violence themes, partial nudity, and I remember being like, oh, so there's going to be a nipple in it, and it's like, actually, it's this man's extremely muscular ass.
Right.
I'm proud of you, weird quasi-racist development studio. Is a fun video game though. Episode 29 is Octoboy. Don't remember it at all. I remember the image I made because of a child's head on top of an octopus's body, because several people sent me messages along the lines of "fuck you" after I posted that to the internet.
I cannot recall at all where that came from. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with us?
30 is Pendulum Head. I'm pretty sure.
Pendulum Head, it's obviously an emu or a cassowary.
Yeah, one of the two. I'm just going to sort of go through the rest of them and pick out any that I think are, like, really fun. Esoteric breast massage.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we didn't come up with that. That was a term that already existed.
That one was created, and we just sort of brought it out to the world.
We just thought we'd share the fact. And that was from a cult. I believe that was probably my story, just on the basis that it was a cult.
Yes.
Squishy banana finger toy.
That one's very fun. Don't know what it's about. I like 39 Avengers Vape War because that was my first real crack at making something that was easily searchable. And it failed. 42, Daddy's News.
Oh, Daddy's News.
Daddy's News is still my favourite of our needlessly committing to the bits, because I have had to pay for the renewal of that URL.
Somewhere out there is searching Daddy's News for some reason, and it goes through to the Australian Community Media page, and like, what the fuck is this? Why does this happen?
I don't know why. I like Divinity Report a lot. Don't know what it means, but I think it's funny.
Yeah.
I remember EMP Orgasm because it was a personal anecdote that I'm not going to go into detail on because it's shameful. But at a family gathering after that episode aired, my aunt was like, interesting podcast you posted, Chris. And then I realised that my aunt listened to this, and I've tried to keep her on the DL a little bit more ever since.
Oh, dear.
What else is there? I like Pexpert.
Pexpert is good.
Danny's Doritos. That's a fun little pun.
I mean, Danny DeVito, he's always a well for content.
Exactly.
I feel like I don't give a crap if, like, celebrities are Me Too'd, but if it ever came out Danny DeVito was a predator, that would probably be...
That would wreck me.
The saddest day of my life. Just, like, no exaggeration.
My favourite episode title is Episode 65, Let Us Vape Holy Water.
That's a good one.
Don't care what it's about. Just like it as a sentence coming out of my mouth.
Oof, does it matter what it means?
74, Aliens Smell Like Fart. 75, Pikachu Guevara. Remember that? I could not get that made into a t-shirt because apparently it was a copyright violation of Nintendo of America.
Rude as heck.
Which is bullshit. The episode 79, Ravaged. I remember this because it's about Elon Musk and Grimes, and my mum wouldn't shut up about it.
Ooh, yuck.
And just how funny she thought my discomfort at that was.
That was another wording of mine.
That was a you one where I was profoundly upset.
Oh, no. I said something in a strange way. As I want to. 82,
Lizards Unite. Don't remember what it was about, but that's become a catchphrase now.
It is Lizards Unite, yeah. I'm having a look.
I like
the portion. Oh, this is my favourite. The portion or quality of his natural endowments.
That one brought me much joy. There's Tarot Correspondent. That's fun. My favourite Instagram picture that I've made is the one I made for We Will Remember Clippy.
Clippy.
Where I got like a World War II photo and I photoshopped Clippy into it. And I thought I did a pretty good job of making it look like Clippy was there. I put like some shadows in, some Clippy-shaped shadows.
Very good.
Very good. Put some grain over Clippy.
Beautiful.
Is Bark cancelled? My dad angrily said to me in a very boomery sort of way, no, Chris, Bark is not cancelled. Don't be ridiculous. When we last had a family Skype chat.
I don't even know why that came up. I think we were just talking about, like, classical music and it being good, and then we're like, is he cancelled though? We have to check that before we
who knows?
stan him.
But he's from far enough back that I don't think it matters because everyone from back then is cancelled.
Everyone from back then is cancelled.
Yeah.
Centipede Slurry. Yeah, okay.
That one was unpleasant.
These are some recent ones we've got into here. These are very recent. I would like to say, though, on this walk back through memory lane, thanks for dealing with all this shit that you've had to listen to throughout the episodes, if you've been listening.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was
all.
delivered at our listeners or at me, and it's good to know that it was
both.
in fact delivered at our listeners and not me, because I also have to edit all of it, Alison, and so everything you say that makes me very uncomfortable, I have to hear at least twice.
And thank you very much, Chris, for doing all the work on this. Well, I just tune in on, every now and again to record.
I'm so happy for you.
100 episodes, hey? We made it. This started from us just shit-talking in class before the class started.
And our teacher saying we were funny.
And our teacher saying we were funny.
And then
we're like, well,
then
our
we,
teacher
as,
said it, so
as
it must be
millennials,
true.
thought, well, we've got to monetize this.
Absolutely.
At which, I've got to say, we have categorically failed. But
We've categorically failed monetizing, but we've had a good time.
But it's pretty fun.
It's been fun.
So here's to, I hope to God, not 100 more, but we'll see how we go.
We'll see where our lives take us.
At
Maybe
this point,
before then we've got a new concept
That's
that
the
we
thing,
are
is-
going with.
At this point, neither of us has a good excuse to stop. I think that's
No.
the problem.
Exactly. Look, maybe episode 200 will have a completely different podcast.
Exactly. Who
knows?
knows? Maybe
Who knows?
the Artemis Fowl thing we're going to record in about 30 minutes is going to be such a flyaway success
Absolutely.
that we're just going to become an Artemis Fowl podcast.
Exclusively Artemis Fowl. I've got to get my book ready for that.
You do.
And just, have a little flick through. Flick through the pages.
All right, let's wrap up and then go get prepared for part 2 of this.
Part 2 of this
deeply shitty odyssey we've decided to go on.
Right, and it's going to be
You
great.
also have to sign up for
A good
Disney
time.
Plus.
I do have to sign up for Disney Plus. So apologies to everyone in advance for contributing money.
Well, you're not
to
going to give
Disney.
money to them. You're going to cancel it after the free trial.
I'm going to check if my sister has the subscription first before I go ahead and sign up for this.
You don't want Disney to have your name.
I don't want them to have me on file, Chris.
That's true. Everybody, thank you for listening. Like Alison was saying, it's genuinely very sweet that you'll listen to this. I don't understand it, but I'll take it.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know, it's really good to know that
You make
people
me feel
enjoy what we do.
You make me feel
Yeah.
valued as a human being. It's all
Absolutely.
It's all I have. You can find us on Twitter or Instagram at RedMenacecast or on Facebook at
Absolutely.
the Red Menace Podcast. You can find our merchandise at tpublic.com. Haven't put up any new merchandise in a year. And will I ever put up more? Who knows?
Who knows?
That's how we end the show, isn't it? You remember when
That's
we did
how we end the
final headlines before we realised how hard that was?
I do realise that because people just weren't punny anymore.
No, people gave up. Humour died, and we had to live on.
Yeah, it did. It was a series of successive blows to humour, and now it doesn't exist anymore.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. If it sounds interesting to you, please come back. Give yourself a 30-minute break, but then come
Yeah.
back for the Artemis Fowl one. It'll be designed to be listened to whilst you watch Artemis Fowl,
Yes.
the movie. Like, it is literally a commentary track.
You don't have to give money to Disney.
No. You can steal Artemis Fowl. That's fine. It's not worth money.
it's not worth
fucking
it.
garbage of a movie.
Right.
But I mean, if you want to listen to it without watching the movie, you can. I don't know why you would, but each to their own. If you're just like,
your
I need
prerogative.
to throw away 90 minutes of my life, I suppose there are worse ways to do it, but not a lot of them.
Yeah, I'll see you guys in 30 minutes when you've had your lunch break and you've come back.
Thank you very much, everybody, for listening. See you at episode 200. Good luck and good night. Lizards unite.
Lizards unite.